A tanker calls itself something it's not. Its AIS says it's off one coast, but satellite images catch it near Venezuela. Flags change, ownership vanishes into shell companies, and the oil never stops moving. That's the ghost fleet at work. In this episode, we follow one deception thread from spoofed positions to a visual match that blows its cover. Then, we show how the US Navy, using integrated satellite surveillance and commercial partners like tankertrackers.com, builds the case that leads to a seizure, like the skipper, and forces the invisible into the open. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. A tanker swears it's ghosting off West Africa, same call sign, same hull, same tone on AIS. Then a daylight satellite pass clips a clear silhouette off the Paraguay coast. Tug wakes and all, the lie survives because the paperwork travels faster than the ship, and the ocean's bureaucracy is easy to bend. When US sanctions squeezed PDVSA in 2019, Venezuelan exports cratered. They slid from over 1 million barrels a day to roughly half that by year's end. But the flows climbed back. By November, shipments hovered near 920,000 barrels a day again, and a Venezuela-linked slice of a worldwide phantom fleet took shape to carry them. The trick is speed and confusion. Names flip overnight. Flags hop between registries that issue approvals with minimal checks. Ownership fragments into holding firms that only exist on a lawyer's laptop. And when an identity grows too hot, the operators pull a grim move. They take the IMO number of a ship cut apart years ago and staple it onto a live hull. One Varada died on a Bangladeshi beach in 2017, yet a Varada turned up after a run from Venezuela. That is the zombie playbook. Resurrect a dead ID. Slap it on steel that never met that registry, and let the system chase a ghost. Follow one route. A tanker sails as name A until Sanctions chatter tags it. The owners file a rename to B with a registry known to turn papers quickly. The MMSI updates, the hull gets a cheap repaint, and a new flag appears from a permissive authority that relies on self-declared data. Insurance moves through a shadow broker who places coverage in a small market where underwriters accept photocopied class records. Once at sea, the captain kills AIS inside a grey zone and meets a second tanker in international waters. Hoses run at night, crude moves ship to ship, and the receiving vessel claims a blend loaded elsewhere. The origin blurs. The bill of lading reads clean. Scale makes it work. Roughly 3,300 vessels now push 6 to 7% of the world's crude, and the same network moves barrels for Venezuela, Iran, and Russia. That pool gives Caracas enough hulls to route oil through side channels, shuffle identities, and keep a steady export cadence without touching a blacklisted peer. Each switch, name, flag, insurer, adds another layer for analysts to peel back. Flags of convenience power the churn. Operators seek registries with low fees, light verification, and fast processing. Some ships even fly false flags, hoisting colors they never lawfully obtained. The swaps happen so often that small maritime administrations can't keep up. Their manual checks fall behind, and in the gap, fake or outdated entries sit in databases as if nothing changed. More than one country has formally told the IMO that vessels are sailing under their flag without permission, yet those same hulls keep transmitting those flags over AIS, now thread in a ship called Skipper. Reports tied it to sanctioned trades and identity shifts. It claimed one flag, but records at the flag authority did not align with what the ship broadcast or what port agents filed. Its paper trail wandered in circles, and its track held the same odd habit of popping up near Venezuelan load zones despite telegraphing a different ocean. The payoff is simple. Zombie identities, permissive flags, and mid-ocean transfers let Venezuelan crude slide into routes that look legitimate at first glance. The barrels never need to call at a sanctioned terminal. The cargo slips aboard a second hull, the paperwork rinses the name, and the voyage continues as if nothing happened. That only works if the electronic story stays believable, which raises the next problem. When a transponder tells one tale and the sea tells another, what does the Navy use to force the truth out of steel? If AIS says a tanker is somewhere else, what single system forces it to tell the truth? The answer starts above the clouds. Space doesn't care what a transponder claims. When a hull leaves a wake, satellites see it. When a deck bristles with piping, optical sensors record the shape. That hard evidence is what breaks the spell of a clean-looking screen and a lying signal. AIS is meant to make ships visible. Each transponder broadcasts a vessel's identity, coordinates, course, and speed. Spoofing warps that feed. Operators inject false GPS positions so the system paints a ship in a distant grid square. Others clone identities, copying MMSI and even IMO numbers from a real tanker to create a ghost trace that moves cleanly through busy lanes. You end up with two identical ships, one on the ocean, one on a map, hundreds of miles apart. To anyone trusting that map, everything looks compliant. On paper, the fleet looks orderly. In orbit, the truth is messy. You might see a row of AIS targets cruising off West Africa, while optical passes show loaded tankers loitering off Venezuela. So which dataset wins when they clash? The Navy treats AIS as a clue, not a verdict, and leans on what can't be faked easily. Images, radio emissions, and timelines that have to line up. The layered fix pulls in commercial satellites, RF detections, and disciplined AIS checks, then blends them with outside analysts. Teams at tankertrackers.com scan imagery to flag hulls near load zones. Windward maps anomalies in behavior and risk. Kepler adds trade flow baselines and historical routes. Navy analysts fuse it all, then push it against what a ship claims about itself. If the picture disagrees with the transponder, the picture takes priority. Visual matching is the first cut. A daylight pass catches a hull at a known coordinate. Analysts measure length between perpendiculars, estimate beam from shadow geometry, and study the superstructure's setback. Mast positions, crane count, and the layout of deck piping tighten the ID. Acclaimed Aframax with a tall midships island, 2 manifolds, and a bulbous bow can't masquerade as a smaller product tanker with a different deck plan. If the silhouette doesn't fit the name goes on the suspect board. Darkness doesn't end the watch. Infrared and low-light sensors register thermal signatures from engines and cargo heating. Synthetic aperture radar cuts through clouds and records the hard lines of steel, even in bad weather. With repeated passes, the system logs ship-to-ship transfers that never hit an AIS log, complete with timestamps and relative positions. Hoses between 2 specks under cloud at 2:13 becomes a line item with coordinates. Paper trails get pulled next. Port call histories, flag state records, and insurance certificates sit alongside the imagery timeline. If a registry lists a dry dock in 1 month while satellites show the ship at sea, the flag claim falters. If a vessel broadcasts a flag that the authority won't confirm, that's a false flag indicator. If coverage lapsed the week a transfer occurred, the gap speaks to intent.